Hey everybody, it's Joe Trippi, and welcome back to That Trippi Show with my co-host Alex Sashlow. But Alex is on the road this week, so today we welcome my friend and terrorist Cal Perry to the show. You may remember Cal from his movie questions a few weeks ago,
That's what I'm known for.
but he promises not to do that again, which is bullshit. He's going to do it again somehow, some way. Cal, welcome.
Oh, I am excited to be here. I appreciate Alex letting me sit in. I will do my best. And if it's not good, he will definitely let everyone know next week.
Big shoes to fill there, my friend. I mean,
Don't I know it? I know
he
it?
could drive a train. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, well, he does it all. We'll see what I can do. But I wanted to get a little personal today with you
Oh God.
because, as you said before we started taping, I'm your worst nightmare. And I just want to follow through on that. So let's talk a little LA. Let's
Yeah.
start in Los Angeles. Let's do the mayor's race. Let's talk Spencer Pratt because this guy is some kind of nutso, okay? But he's
Yeah.
probably going to make it to the runoff. We don't know for sure yet. As of this taping, it looks like he will. He's going to run off against Karen Bass, who is the current mayor.
And he's going to get his rear end handed to him, my friend. I mean, handed to him.
Okay,
Uh,
well, that's not my question. Here's my
okay.
question.
What's your question?
Should Democrats write him off as a joke? Or is there a lesson to be learned from this guy and what he's done and the fact that he's running against everybody and everything? The fact that he's MAGA, but he's not MAGA, and Trump's endorsed him, but he's running against the machine. Is he onto something? Or is he a joke?
Well, I mean, you can be, both things can be true. You can be a joke and be onto something, right? I mean, I think the year it's clear that people are willing to throw out anybody for something new, different, who's just not doing the same old, same old. And him, and there's quite a few of these kind of candidates around the country. Um, his problem, though, I think will end up being that, I mean, you look at like Cornyn and Paxton in Texas. I mean, Cornyn had been the senator, and I'm getting beyond MAGA and sort of status quo Republicans. Cornyn was not changed. Unfortunately for Texas, Paxton was
Right.
with voters. Um, now in Texas, that might be enough. I mean, in other words, we'll see whether Tallarico can get by Paxton. In LA, in Los Angeles, no way. In the end, I understand. Yeah. So yes, he's onto something. Unfortunately, I think LA will end up rejecting the change that he represents. And I think his and Hilton's affiliation with MAGA and Trump in California and in Los Angeles will, they can all celebrate and run around right now going, hey, hey, hey. In the end, that and $5 will not even get them a Starbucks coffee in Los Angeles.
Okay, so Bass wins, fine. But when the Hill writes, quote, because if I had given you this quote blind, you wouldn't have guessed that it's him.
This is
If I
definitely
had said
turning into it's already my worst nightmare. This is worse than you asking about movies, okay?
10 out of 10. So if I had given you this quote blind, quote, he's tapped into the frustration with the state of the city and he's channeling a broader dissatisfaction with quality of life issues. You never would have thought that, Spencer Pratt.
No, and like I said, until right now, Spencer Pratt is a blank slate. The one thing that happens, look, in these elections, and I keep, when you're the challenger, when you're the new guy on the block, no one knows a damn thing about you. And so you can just say everything sucks. These people in power are horrible. Vote for me and we'll get rid of them. That works. But because right now no one knows a damn thing about the guy. As soon as they realize, wait a minute, he's supported by Donald Trump and he's a MAGA dude, even though he'll say he's, I mean, no,
Right.
in LA. So, I mean, this is before we get into policies and anything else. It's just not going to fly. Now, there are places. This is an interesting thing.
And
Like,
this is what I want you to do. This is my broader question is remove LA from the equation
yeah.
because the messaging is right.
Well, we saw this in Maine with Plattner, right? He's running against Mills, the governor. He's changed. She's just in voters' eyes more, and he positioned her as more of the same. She gets out of the race. He becomes, Susan Collins is more of the same, and he's changed still, even though they're going to throw the Nazi tattoos at him and the sex texts and all that stuff is going to come. Um, and Trump proved this. You can go out, look at all the ways we all went after Trump in 2016. No, oh my God, look at what he's saying. He's saying these racist things. He's saying these sexist things. It didn't everybody said screw it, we just want change because we don't want Hillary Clinton. And in 2020, I keep telling people this, believe it or not, Joe Biden was changed because damn it, Trump had been there for 4 years. People were like, what the hell, I didn't sign up for
The
this.
extremes were so much.
Yeah. And then 2024 comes around and guess who's changed again? Trump, because Joe Biden and Harris. So right now we're in a change wave, big time. It's not a blue wave. None of those, that's what I'm saying. In the end, I don't think that, this year, that year, you can go back and go as 2018, a blue wave or whatever. No, I think it's been a change election every cycle since Donald Trump came down the escalator. And this is going to be a change election, not a blue or a red thing. It's independent. You look at where people are lining up, independents, Latinos, et cetera. They're not lining up with Trump and MAGA. So in a place like Los Angeles, where independents and Latinos make up a big part of that electorate, it's going to be interesting. I don't believe Pratt can win those people over. I don't think Hilton can. I just don't think that's going to happen. In Maine, it's going to be interesting because Susan Collins' change is not change. I think we may see kind of both things happen where some of these guys, no matter what you throw at them, survive and win. So shockingly, I mean, it doesn't make it like Trump did in 2016, survive and win. 2024, survive no matter what crazy ass stuff he said or did. But many of them are, I think, gonna, slam into a wall. And I think both Pratt and Hilton are likely to find. I mean, first of all, I know California really well. I worked for going back to Tom Bradley's race.
This is why we're starting and finishing the show there. You know it better than anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, against Sam Yorty. I mean, against frickin' Sam Yorty, I worked for Tom Bradley. That tells you how frickin' old I am. And then, through the years, was Bradley's deputy campaign manager for governor in '82. Came back. I mean, like a couple of mayors of San Jose, California. Mark Takano, who's a congressman from the Riverside, San Bernardino area. Susan Hahn, Janice Hahn, excuse me, the supervisor, Los Angeles County supervisor, literally, Ro Khanna, when he defeated Mike Honda up north in Silicon Valley, all of Jerry Brown's races for attorney general, governor, et cetera. I know the place. I just don't see. I'm not saying that Pratt isn't hitting a nerve. He clearly is, but I also think, in fact, I did Steve Soboroff's race for mayor of Los Angeles, first Republican I ever worked for in my life. It's a nonpartisan race for mayor of LA, but he'd come off with Reardon when Reardon was mayor and had done such an incredible job on so many things that Reardon sort of assigned him to do that I went like, hey, I want to help. I'm just not like, he's not a Democrat, therefore, go to hell. I'm not going to work. Back in in an era where that was like kind of like, oh, maybe there is a Republican that people can work with. And so I know how tough it is for somebody with just normal Republican credentials in a place like Los Angeles or the state of California to make a dent. It's easy in a jungle primary to make the runoff. I mean, the November election. That's easy to do. It's exceedingly hard to win it. And I remember when Janice Hahn ran for Congress, she was in third place against the sitting Secretary of State, Democrat, who was in first, and a Republican candidate who was in second. And I just decided that we should go pick a fight with the second place Republican candidate and get into a huge knockdown, drag out fight with him and see if we could both get past the Secretary of State of the state of California in her home Senate district. And guess what? We did, and she took third, and Janice Hunt. So now we've gotten a Republican into the final with us. The district went down to San Pedro in LA, and it was an easy win in the general.
Well,
And
it's good that it makes sense to you because it makes sense to no one else. This race, the candidates. I mean, one of the most qualified people in this race is finishing, second to a reality star, who did the craziest AI ad you've ever seen.
No, but this is the talking heads who think like, oh, it's like, let's create some excitement. Let's create a big race down there. Pratt. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, he's going to. And you know what? I mean, more power to them, but they don't have a freaking clue what they're talking about. It's not going to happen. And the same thing with Hilton. I mean, yeah. Let's just put Hilton for 30 seconds on TV for millions and millions of dollars, and we'll see how many Californians actually vote for the Fox News guy it's not going to happen. So, yeah, will we go through weeks of the Becerra Hilton thing? Or actually a whole week of can Steyer somehow get past Hilton? I don't think that's going to happen either.
Well, you're leading me into our next question, which is Dems are built for a media world that no longer exists. Okay. The mayoral race on CNN was on for about 12 minutes this morning. What you're about to complain about is playing out on national television. We're not even going to get to the Scott Pelley thing, okay? And the fact that he's not going to save you. There's no one who's going to expose your opponent. We live in a world where journalism is gone. So if your opponent is a criminal, or if your opponent is completely corrupt, or if your opponent is somehow unqualified to be running for the office, you cannot count on journalism to help you.
No, you have
in any way.
You have to do it. Yeah, you have to do it. You have to get a lot of people out there who support you to be pushing those messages. That's what Republicans have become very, very good at. And Trump's become very
Democrats seem to be very, very bad at. So what do Dems need to do in this climate, in this world? What are the top 2-3 things that they need to do and focus on?
Well, in California, all they got to do is get the Democrat.
Forget California. Talk about the important races.
Now let's forget
California.
Yeah, okay.
I'm talking about in a country where you're not going to have deep dive reporting on these races. They're not. The midterm coverage is not going to be like anything that people have ever seen before. It's not going to be nearly as in-depth.
Well,
there's not.
The electorate has decided, for the most part, even in these battleground places, that they're not. Independents are moving away from Trump and MAGA big time. I mean, not close calls, not 53-47, but 23-77, big voting for Dems. And we're not talking about polls, just polls that show that, but actual votes in Virginia and New Jersey and in Georgia and other places. It's clear. Independents have said, hey, I'm out of here. Double haters, people who hate both parties and both candidates in these races, they're voting 80-20 for the Democrats. Same thing, forget about polling. It shows up in polls, but it also shows up in Virginia and New Jersey and other places. Latinos, gone. Texas, they redraw the lines based on who the independents and how Latinos voted for Trump in 2024. Good luck to you all, because at least 3 of those 5 districts are going to go Democratic, because those groups are no longer where they were in 2025 when they drew it. So no, it's mostly exposing the Republican in the district or in the state that is, I mean, like, just give you a couple examples. The Economist poll came out today, or yesterday, I think. In Iowa, Trump's favorable approval has now fallen to -20. When I was there about 3 months ago, it was -10. I then watched it go to -12, -14. It's now -20. In Florida, it's -14. It's been sliding the same thing. In Alabama, and you know this, in Alabama, 4 months ago, Trump was +2 in a state where he had got 68% favorable when Doug Jones defeated Roy Moore in 2017, 68. It was +2 4 months ago, then plus 0.7. Now, then it went to -2, and now it's -8 in this last Economist poll. So tie everybody out there who empowered this guy to do all the crap that has people unnerved about why they can't afford gasoline, their groceries, the war in Iran, the tariffs, literally, the violence in the streets from ICE, all of it. They have moved away. I mean, so ICE.
And I think it's really important what you're saying, just to highlight something about that poll. Even if you don't believe the hard number, a lot of people don't believe polls, candidates being the chief amongst them. Even if you don't believe the hard number, what you're saying is the slippage is easily provable. It's easily provable across many states, and it's double digits in a period of 3 to 5 months.
Yes. And there's nothing that would indicate that, despite the president increasingly every day saying the war in Iran's over, or it will be over any minute, or there's a close deal, et cetera, there's nothing in the cards that say any of that's going to be true. And even if it is true, nothing that says gasoline prices or any of the other things that are already built in now to the inflationary cycle that he's thrown everybody into is going to change between now and November. So and by the way, corruption is becoming clearer and clearer as like one of the, I mean, you're now starting to see in polls where corruption is actually outflanking cost of living. They're both up there. But so if your Republican has done corrupt stuff, go after him on corruption. But you tie him to Trump and to enabling him and to not preventing all this harm that the guy's done. I mean, and also, I mean, look, we're seeing in rural areas, rural hospitals shutting down, Medicaid cuts, et cetera. So no, there's plenty of ways to go after this. The one thing that just is not unsettling to me, but I just don't understand it, is that with all the corruption that's going on in the Trump administration. And I understand, we all know that the court gave him immunity as president, et cetera, et cetera. I understand that. But if you're the corporate guy that cut an illegal deal with Trump, I mean, like, we'll get you $1 billion if you look the other way and do this for me over here. We know all the corrupt deals that Trump has done. Trump maybe have immunity. I mean, but the business guy who's cutting that deal on the other end of it, I don't understand why the local U.S. attorney, the DAs, are not indicting these guys on the corruption charges that they obviously are playing, including insider trading and all the other things that are going on.
Because you don't live in the same country. I mean, because it's a different country now.
Yeah.
You know the answer to the question.
Well, no, but the attorneys general of the United States, the U.S. attorneys, I understand the feds run the U.S. attorneys' offices. I get that. But the DAs, the attorneys general in these states, they can bring, and we saw some of that in the first term. We're not seeing very much of it at all in the second term. And I think there should be some shots across the bow there to push back against all the corrupt. But I also think, yeah, the Democrats writ large in their districts need to be calling this stuff out point blank at their opponents. In the end, tie them to Trump, and they can't get there from here. And the problem they all have, and I keep saying this, is you look at the answer to one question. When you look at the crosstabs, only with Republicans, just ask them. Yeah, they ask everybody how Republicans respond to the following question. Was ICE too brutal? Was ICE Goldilocks perfect in the way they performed everything? Or was ICE not tough and brutal enough? And what you're going to find is a really interesting problem where roughly a third say they went too far. These are Republicans. They've gone a little too far.
There's a third of just Republicans polled.
Yeah, just they've gone too far. A third, Goldilocks, it's been perfect. 31% say ICE hasn't been tough and brutal enough. So if he backs off of beaten heads and all that stuff, this is why he had to do alligator Alcatraz, right? Because that wasn't for everybody else. That was for the 31. Hey, we'll show you. We can be even more brutal. Alligators will get them if they escape. That was all for the 31.
Red meat for the extreme.
Right. And every time they feed red meat to the extremes, independents, Latinos, women go, oh shit, we're out. And including, remember, the third of Republicans who say, geez, they've gone too far. So then you go look at the Cornyn race, where Cornyn gets 38% or whatever, really close to that 33 that think they've gone too far. And then you get, guess who? Paxson gets the 65, 6. Guess who those are? It's been just great. Or, damn it, I wish they were more brutal. So this is how do what do those 31 do? I mean, what are the 33? In other words, how do you hold that all together? And there's increasing signs that they can't. I mean, again, look at these races, look at Massey, look at Cornyn. Yeah, Cornyn lost, but there was 38 there. I'm sure, do those people actually vote? I don't know. I mean, for a corrupt, so get to Paxson, corrupt as hell, go after him, tie him to all and the corruption that Trump's doing and the corruption of Paxson, you glue that together. And who the hell's worried about you when you're looking at $5, $6 gas prices? Oh, but don't worry, it's all going away. When this thing's over, gas prices will be low just like that, Mr. Trump says. Well, I don't think anybody's buying that anymore. I also don't think that the usual stuff, oh man, duck, because they're gonna call you a trans, telefrico, all that stuff that they're doing to him. There's no signs. It gets back to what you said about Pratt, how we started this. There's no signs that going after folks with that kind of stuff is having the same impact that it did 6 months ago, a year ago. And so
I don't think it is. I think that's why Pratt is running on reasonable platforms, but putting out crazy AI videos, because I think this conversation is happening in his reality show head. And what spits out the other end of his reality show head, instead of somebody who's qualified for public office and is going to be a public servant, is what I'll do is you'll hear out of my mouth, I'm raging against the machine and I'm here to make your life better. And then on the side, I'm going to make an AI video that appears to be a Batman film that is clearly MAGA sort of nuttiness. He wants it both. He wants the 31%, plus he wants the other thing, but his problem is it's LA.
Yeah, and it's also, I don't think you can do that tap dance. You can't be both of those things. That's what I'm saying. Even in this media environment, you cannot be both. I think that's what Trump's starting to, that's what I think is starting to really erode the Trump base for Trump, because he cannot both be the guy who wants to nuke Iran and make that 30, oh yeah, let's go nuke Iran, and the people who said, wait, you weren't going to do any forever wars and get us in bogged down in this shit. Those two things now exist in the MAGA base, and he can't. That's what I mean. Pratt can try to keep
That's
all
right.
that together. It can't be done. That's what I'm. It's not about, can both things be true? Yes, both things can be true, and I just don't think how. I don't see how Pratt squares them. It may be easier for a Democrat, somebody running as a Democrat, to square them.
Dems have a much easier time at this because they've got gas prices are insane. Farmers don't have fertilizer. Things are going very poorly. And irregardless of the fact that there's no media, everyone knows what you said earlier, which is the Strait of Hormuz is not opening this weekend. This war is not going well.
Here's the difference between Biden and Trump on the economy. Okay, I'm not talking about, the jobs kept going up and all that other stuff, and Biden kept saying, no, the economy's great, really, just believe, trust me. No, what's different is people they could blame Biden, and obviously they did, but it was a pandemic, and maybe he screwed up the response. We get into that. Maybe Trump screwed it up. Doesn't matter, right? The problem here is everybody knows why we went to war in Iran. There's no like, well, no, there was a pandemic or this or that. No. We went because Donald Trump's fingerprints are all over the damn thing. I mean, there's no way to explain that away. He can't like get you when you're looking at $5 gasoline as you're filling up your tank. Everybody every day,
And he's boxed in with his own personality. He has to say it was me.
Yeah.
Even worse than that,
Yeah.
he has to say. He can't even pass it off.
Yeah, at least the Biden folks had the look where there's supply chain issues caused by the thing, and we're going to do this, and maybe we pumped too much money into the whatever, and and people blamed him. Don't get me wrong, it cost them, but I think what's different here is there's nobody wondering, hey, how did this happen? No, they know tariffs. They know he bought that hook, line, and sinker. They know for sure he did the tariffs. They know he did the war. They know he did the ordered ice into the streets. And now they may not blame him for for people getting their heads bashed in and killed. They know who sent them in. They know who sent attacked Iran. They know it's him exactly. Whereas in the Biden administration, there was a reality. The reality was, you get handed the pandemic as you come in. Same thing happened with Obama. He got handed the Great Recession, and and it took him 2 terms to dig out of it, and still got blamed because we didn't get out of the recession fast enough, right? So he gets the, and so which leads to I want change because we didn't get out of this damn recession, and here comes Trump, the guy who actually helped make it all happen is now changed. I don't think, how does he turn any of this into change, into where you want to change right now? How if you're a Republican in the House or the Senate who hook, line, and sinker, including the damn Supreme Court, by the way, who've enabled and emboldened this guy?
Oh, yeah.
How do you say, no, everything's great and we're going to, and we're real change? So now the problem is Pratt is going to be, this is the difference. What people want to change is all the MAGA Trump shit. I mean, the people that are the Latinos, the independents, women, they want change. The change they want is to get rid of all these MAGA Trump guys. So here comes Mr. MAGA Trump saying, hey, I'm going to change everything.
I'm going to fix your city after a fire, but also Batman.
Yeah. And so I don't think that now Pratt, the Plattner is a different animal because they want to get rid of Susan Collins because she's the same old. And so are they really going to care? Just like they didn't with Donald Trump and didn't with, do they really go, oh my gosh, we can't do this because of all this stuff they're saying about Plattner? Or do they say, you know what? Screw it. At least he's going to change everything and get rid of her. And
And
so that's why I think
yeah.
there's a difference because between between the baggage if you're a Democrat and the
No, I
baggage you may carry if you're a Trump Republican.
completely. And I'm really interested to see in the wake of this war, which will be ongoing. There's no ad that Republicans can put on the way they did after 9/11 that says my opponent was against the war. Well, everybody's against the war today,
Yeah, yeah,
anyway.
yeah, yeah.
And that'll be interesting to see. All right, before we run out of time, because otherwise Shaslow is going to cut the last segment. And the last segment is obviously the most
Oh
important segment.
no. Is this the one? Yeah,
This is
thank
it. You
you.
ready? All right. So for those of you who don't know Joe as well as I know Joe,
Oh, great.
Joe is kind of split allegiances when it comes to baseball teams. He's a lover of two worlds. He's a Dodger fan
Yeah,
by birth, okay, a proud Dodger fan, but he's also an Orioles fan. Now, if you don't
yeah.
know anything about Major League Baseball, the Dodgers have everything, and the Orioles are based in Baltimore. I think that you basically use the Orioles as like a cigarette after watching the Dodgers, like not even a good one. But here's my question. MLB is
Where
about
the
to go to
hell is
war.
this going? Where's this going?
MLB is about to go to war over the salary cap.
Yeah,
There is no question in my mind that the salary cap would help the Orioles and hurt the Dodgers.
yeah.
At the same time, we would lose a dynasty in LA. We would have a different dynamic in baseball. So what are you for? Are you for a
Salary
salary
cap.
cap?
Yeah,
Why?
salary cap. I think
Why?
baseball's economics are all screwed up, and if they don't fix it, small market teams are never going to be able to be really competitive. That's really the big mistake MLB made was when they put the Nationals and Baltimore in the same market
Oh yeah.
because one of them would have been able to be a big market team and potentially build something like the Dodgers or et cetera. But when you put two teams in that market, you made them two small market teams, which means, and you know this, Cal, it means like the
I do know
owner.
this, but I'm interested in the fact that, of course, I know this, but hang on a second. So you'll take the hometown hit in the name of better baseball
No,
teams.
look. I'll tell you two things. When I grew up, uh, I grew up begging for tickets outside the gate at Dodger Stadium. I mean, little as a kid,
Now
we
we're getting
just
somewhere.
yeah, we'd
Mhm.
stand out there and, and season ticket, there was a season ticket gate and you'd sit there and ask the guy, please, and it wasn't to sell them. None of
Right.
us, I mean, none of my crew, we were not trying to sell them. We were trying to get in. Watch Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, Don Sutton. I mean, I can go back. It was just amazing. The Los Angeles Angels at the time played in Dodger Stadium for a few seasons before the Big A was built. Their tickets were like 50 cents. So I could actually afford to buy a ticket to the Angels games back then. And so no, I'm
What,
a
a Dodger ticket
diehard.
was $1?
I don't know, but it was I couldn't afford it. But my point is, no, I'm a massive Dodger fan. I remember meeting Tommy Lasorda when we were both commencement speakers at a university commencement in California.
Excellent name drop.
And no, but we were. It made my whole. I mean, it was like, wow, this is like amazing. I'm meeting Tommy Lasorda, and I'm just saying. So no, I've got all that. At the same time, as I went east, working for Senator Kennedy and Walter Mondale and Dick Gephardt and all those guys, uh, and started to be, a guy who was doing a lot of presidential campaigns and running around in lots of states. Moved east. I was living in mostly in Maryland in my later life, and I've become was there when Ripken crossed.
You haven't become you are one of Baltimore's biggest fans. You are a
Yeah,
season ticket
yeah,
holder.
yeah.
You
Oh yeah,
go
yeah.
to
No, and I
games in the
like
rain. I mean, I just
yeah,
think the
yeah,
context here is
yeah,
important.
yeah, yeah.
You
No, and
you
I
drive across the bridge in the rain to see this team,
yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah.
rarely
So
very good.
yeah, yeah. No, so right. So yeah, you're right now. So where's my allegiance? Well, that would have to be tested in a World Series between the Dodgers and the Orioles. Then we might figure out where that actually, because I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't have no idea. But in terms of this issue, what baseball has to do to fix itself, I think. And I mean, baseball's got a lot of great things going for it. I'm not saying that, but I think there is no way small market teams can survive unless there is some change in how the system works. And so I'd be for a cap or some other. I mean, there may be a different solution, but if that's the one that's on the table, I'd be
Yeah,
for the salary cap.
I agree with you. A cap is on the table, and so is a
And as
ceiling.
you know, I
Yeah,
advised a certain owner
yeah.
of the Orioles to buy uh, Otani,
I
Shotani.
I
Yes,
can't believe you're giving up this secret. This is now going to break news on that Trippi show. Yeah, not only did you advise him to get Otani,
yeah,
but we'll put more national news out there. It's too bad that Orioles owner isn't still in the mix because I think we're going to lose a season of Major League Baseball over these negotiations. I
yeah.
don't
No,
think the
no.
players
I think
are going to
that's
be able to get
right.
in with the owners, and it's too bad we don't have more institutional ownership, frankly, because we've got a lot of new owners, and I don't know how well they'll be able to communicate with the players. I guess is my point.
Well, I just think it's because you look at even what's happened with you fall in love with a player, and at the end of 2 or 3 seasons, right before they're going to be free agents, they
Oh,
get
this is Gunnar Henderson.
gone.
This is my
Yeah,
daughter. My 17-year-old
yeah,
daughter is now learning what it means to be an Orioles fan because she's going to likely see Gunnar Henderson, Jackson Holiday, unless they put in a salary floor and salary cap. Those guys are gone. They're going to LA. They're going
yeah.
to New York. Yeah.
Yeah, now I don't know, it's gotta work out so it's fair to the players too. So I mean, that's going to be a part of the whole problem. But part of this was caused because baseball just doesn't do the same the way the revenue shared is far different than the NFL or other teams, other sports. I mean, and there it needs. I think this reckoning needs to happen. I don't know what the end deal ends up being, but I think the reckoning needs to happen, and I'm on the side of players and fixing it somehow, and just no caps or no solution. It's just letting it keep going the way it is. Forget about it. You just might as well just plan on going to see Yankees and Dodger games.
No, the slippage was obvious when Otani got that contract. That's when it got too far.
No,
Anyway,
but I
Joe,
think
thanks
you
for
could.
having.
But you
What?
could sell. I made the case you could sell. He'll sell more than $700 million of merch during the Otani thing,
I
during
agree
his
with you.
reign.
No, no, no.
No,
I
no.
agree with you.
The problem was, yeah, but we have to share that merch
With
sales with
29, yeah,
29 other teams. So
yeah.
there's no incentive to do that. I mean, so unless you're like either a deep pocket team that's like rolling in it, or an ownership group that has massive billions that they can just buy everything but the kitchen sink, which, by the way, is tending to happen with the bigger market teams, then the small, guys, Cleveland, Baltimore, yeah, in the Nats. I mean, so they made one run, and then the ownership realizes we can't keep doing this, so they can't sustain it.
That's
And
and
I
that's
think that's what I think Ruben. I mean, I think the Orioles may get a run here because maybe the ownership group will dig, but it'll be a one-time wonder if it happens. Not because ownership doesn't want to do it, not because the players aren't glued in, but because the system makes it not sustainable if you're a small market team. So anyway, that's my. We've talked way too much baseball for this audience.
Well, I think it could be its own podcast. I appreciate you having me. Thank you,
No, thanks
Alex.
for.
Don't
Yeah,
cut it
yeah.
all out.
He'll probably will. You
Yeah,
never
probably
know.
will. Next time I
I'm
come back,
always surprised with what makes it and what doesn't. So
how much editing actually happens? They actually edit this
no,
thing?
not much really. That's a joke. He drafts kind of like the things we're going to talk about, and sometimes I'll start reading into the intro because because I've been running on empty all day
You
long.
clearly read none of the rundown that I put together. He had me put together notes last night, and it's clear that you just
Yeah.
ignored them.
Well, I don't. First of all, I don't do that. I don't. You can't script me that way, and he knows that, but he tries. And then anyway. So, thanks a lot, Cal, for coming on, and thanks everyone for listening to or watching that Trippi show. Alex threatens to be back next week, so make sure to join us at sez.us. It's a real social network for real people, not bots or algorithms. This podcast will always be free and part of Lincoln Square. So check out the latest at lincolnsquare.media. Also, Cal and I have been talking about trying to come up with a show that two of us can do regularly. Maybe it'll be on sports or something, but or other things. But we're going to be working on that. So
Sports and war stories, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We're
That's actually a good one.
I was thinking sports and war stories because you've got really good both of those.
Yeah, and so do you. So we might do that. Also, if you're listening to this episode on YouTube, please like and subscribe to get alerts when we post the next episode. You can always send us a question to thattrippyshow@gmail.com or leave us a question in the review on iTunes. Thanks, Cal. And we'll see everybody. We'll see you all next week. Thanks again, Cal.
Long read. Thank you, sir.